hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Adewale Adeoye. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for staying with us. When the right men are the aim of affairs, the people would definitely rejoice. The governor of Borno State, Professor Babagana Zulum, is bringing joy to troubled people of the northeast states in many ways. In his efforts to bring more succor to the people, Governor Zulum distributed about 172 million naira cash and food items to 30,436 residents of Damboa, according to a statement by spokesman Issa Gusau. The governor personally coordinated the distribution to people of the town, including victims of destruction caused by flood. Jide, hands-on man, Professor Babagana Zulum, Vintage Zulum.
Yes.
Over 30,000 people, direct impacts. Distributing 172 million naira cash.
Yes.
And you could say these are the people that you've given it to, and you get the impact.
No, it doesn't outsource it to anybody. I've seen where the governor was distributing money for many hours, just distributing money in an IDP camp.
And rappers.
It was just rappers, sometimes even food items like Indomie, noodles, packs of noodles and all that. So in this case, the people were affected by massive flooding. So what he did was... Yes, in Damboa. So what he did was to distribute 50,000 naira to 436 persons.
50,000 naira?
Yes, to 436 persons. He now distributed 5,000 to 30,000 residents. So the 5,000 that he distributed to 30,000 residents came to 150 million. Imagine him standing and distributing cash, 5,000, amounting to 150 million. So when the people that he gave 50,000 naira cash, the 436 persons.
You can just see the crowd.
Yes, he came to...
And he will be
21.8 million.
Supervising.
He doesn't tell people to... He does it by himself. He does it by himself. He's not in a hurry when he's doing something like this. Wherever, even outside Nigeria, he's gone to distribute money. In the IDP camp in Chad and Niger Republic, he went there to distribute money and rappers. But there was stampede in one of those IDP camps and people died, you know?
So reaching out to the people directly.
Directly getting them to feel that they are loved, that he has a kind heart, that he feels their pains. Damboa is the biggest local government in Borno State.
Damboa?
Yes, and one of the biggest in Nigeria. The place had been relatively unsafe, but we are experiencing improvement in security in that area, to the point that even that dangerous Maiduguri-Damboa highway that leads to Biu has now been reopened by the army. In the past, you have to go through Yobe State to go to Damboa, to go to Biu, which means you have to do like 3 times the journey. And you spend like 3 times the normal time that you spend. But now the area is safer. We have improvement in security in the area. More of these people are embarking on farming. The governor wants the improvement to be sustained. That's why we are seeing him now encouraging them by giving money to those who have suffered as a result of flooding. So no one can say this man is doing this for the cameras or for playing to the gallery. I've read some people accuse him of that. Someone who can risk his life almost to the point of almost being killed on at least 3 occasions.
Yeah.
There was even one last attack. They decided not to let people know. that the governor's convoy came under attack again. So somebody who can put his life on the line, you will say he's doing it for the
Going
cameras.
to dangerous places.
No, he comes from a poor background.
Where security report would have said, no, don't go. He will still embark on such trips.
Yes, because he is determined to solve the problem. So this is the thing. I think it's just his real self that we are seeing. There is no pretense about him, just doing what he thinks is right.
Well, somebody like Babagana Zulum, to me, is like just more of a calling. He wanted to go back to this Borno state to continue what he's doing. He feels that he's a man on a mission, an assignment. He was under immense pressure when the presidential tickets, the deputy, they were looking for, he was reached out to, and he insisted that, look, he needed to go back to this Borno state to go and complete his assignment.
I think if he's someone seeking for personal ambition, he will have jumped at the opportunity
to become the...
But he said, look, the work I'm doing in Borno is more important to me. I'm going to be the vice president.
The president, like a personal...
Position. See, if you are a good leader, people will know. Whether you are in a Cross River State, whether you are in Gombe, Nigerians will know by your actions, by your activities. If you read that report very well, when he was distributing these items, up to midnight, he was still there. And even when you look at the way he dresses, occasions like this.
Can you pass this kind of person? Ordinarily, with the kind of governors that we have in Nigeria, yes. Look at him. Look at the shirt he's wearing.
Rolling off his sleeves.
Do you understand?
Sweating.
Sweating, moving from one community.
You can't see this kind of person on the street of Lagos. I say he's the governor of Borno State.
It's say midnight, he still went to the general hospital to inspect, healthcare facilities, midnight. So I think what he has done here is going to dissuade a lot of people from being recruited by terrorists, because men who are being given,
because if he does not reach out to them now, terrorists will reach out to them.
Of course.
Yes.
They want to prosecute them, offer them money, because
people are
poverty is
getting 2 bags of rice.
The tool they are using.
They have been encouraged to go back to farming. Even people who left as refugees 2013, 2014, they are coming back to their homes. So I think this is quite impressive. And I think it will stand out in history as one of the best governors Nigeria has ever produced. And has been doing this for the past 3 years. This is not the first time.
So it's not pretending. It's
yes.
Just,
no.
That's naturally to him. Did you see when he distributed tricycles and taxis the other day, smokers for taxis the other day? I've never seen a governor who distributed that many vehicles in one day.
Yeah.
So this thing is not even money alone. Empowerment tools, because he knows that once the people are empowered, these devil incarnates won't be able to
and the basic menace ravishing this the people of Borno State is poverty. First of all, because of the war and everything. So solve the poverty.
So people can't go to their farms.
They can't go anywhere. So they need that cash.
So that's the thing. And now that there is improvement in security, is now fully encouraging them to return to their communities and embrace farming. The people, it's not as if they are happy to receive handouts. They want to work.
But it's not safe.
But a lot of those communities are not safe. That's just the problem. But if we continue to experience improvement, and where we are suddenly facing attacks, like the Monguno area, if they can stop those attacks, the people will be more comfortable. Because a situation in which a place that used to be like a fortress, suddenly those boys are going there. And we've had a number of attacks in the last 1.5 months. So if we can keep those communities that are unsafe, we can improve security in those places. And the ones that had been safe before, if we can keep them safe, honestly, a lot of things will improve. The governor said he was very happy that there was improved harvest for last year because more people were able to take to farming. So I'm sure that incrementally we'll be seeing improvement.
And it's not just tackling giving food, it's education. Building schools, encouraging people to go back to. So it's not just about giving handouts.
State of the art.
A lot of people are going back to school to empower them, you know. So I think
there's even a big school where they are teaching them this vocational studies and all that. So it's not everybody who wants to become a doctor, who wants to become a lawyer and all that. Vocational training.
Set out on time.
Yes, we provided the things that they need, tailoring equipment, barbing equipment. They built such big schools too, so that some of these people, as peace is returning, some of them will get training, vocational training, and they can be useful and even be on their own.
Yeah. All right. Moving on now. All that is required for evil to triumph in the society is for men of goodwill to do nothing. Organized labor in Nigeria has decided to wade into the crisis rocking the education sector in the country. Following 5-month closure of public universities, workers under the umbrella of the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, commenced a 2-day nationwide protest against the continued shutdown of the universities. NLC President Ayuba Waba threatened that if the crisis remained unresolved after the protest, the union will mobilize workers to embark on 3-day warning strike. Let's take some reactions from the protest.
Now, our children has been idle, which means, like you normally taught us, that idle mind is a devil's workshop. It will get to a stage, God forbid bad thing. Some of you will not be able to sleep with your 2 eyes closed. Not even with gun and AK-47. We are going to infant.
Almost all of our students in university are at home, and it's a minus to us, to all the parents, not even the ASU, not even the worker and ASU in university, to all the parents and to we the workers who happen to be their fathers. The next thing is we are going for 3 working strike action, 3 working day action, industrial action. After that, if nothing was done, then we are going to do another next meeting to know the next line of action.
Without education, insecurity will prevail all over, and that's what is happening in Nigeria. In Kwasu, we have a peculiar situation, and that is the issue of no subvention. This should point a signal to the state government. The issue of state subvention is no longer acceptable in Kwasu. We cannot live without subvention.
We have to be fair with ASU and other affiliate unions of the universities. What they have done a lot for the educational sector. And what they are demanding, it is not for selfish interest. They are demanding better condition. They are demanding better facilities in the university. There is no university that will function without facilities. You will end up bringing half-baked graduates.
Just about the little we can show you from Ondo to Kwara to Niger States. Today, across the country today, the Nigerian Labour Congress, it's like a show of strength, spoke with one voice.
Yes, they showed that they still have unanimity within their ranks. They showed that they still retain the confidence of workers. Because when someone said, oh, it's ASU that they have issues with, not NLC. What is NLC? What is ASU? ASU belongs to NLC.
Just like NATO, an assault to one is an assault to
just as TUC belongs to ASU. I mean to NLC. Yes. As big as the TUC is.
Yes.
With so many affiliate unions, it still belongs to the NLC.
Yes.
So
for senior staff.
Yes, there's no way you expect that this thing will go on, and at some point they will not find a way to push government to do something. You can't just leave for 5 months now, since February. They've been at home. Already they lost a year to COVID.
People that are expecting NYC call-up.
No. NYC call-up is not. If you were, even if you were just close to submitting your project. Because at that point, you know that you are almost through with your education.
Yes.
You know, you are about to submit
your project, final project.
And then you lose 6 months. Nobody wants to go through that. We had this kind of thing during the military era. During the Abacha IBB era. Long shutdown of universities, persecution of lecturers to the point that some of them were even pushed out of their residences.
Yes.
You know, during Awalu Yadudu.
Yes, they were named attacked Nadeko lecturers.
Yeah. So
I remember.
Now, under a civilian regime, we are having the same thing. We had it under Jonathan. And there's a clip that has suddenly gone viral of an interview that TVC had with President Buhari just after he won the election.
That's that.
Where he was condemning the administration of Goodluck Jonathan for allowing the ASUU strike to go on. Now he is about to match that record.
Everything he said in that interview, both on fuel subsidy, everything he said today is just staring directly.
Yes, it looks like it's the same administration that we are dealing with.
Honestly, because now we must negotiate now. Government must bend. Like this now, NLC, they have the capacity to ground the economy, to ground anything they want to ground now. So I think with this, I see a way forward with their intervention.
Well, from what we have seen today across the country, I think it's a popular struggle. It shows that a lot of Nigerians are sympathetic to ASUU. It also shows that irrespective of our so-called ethnic and religious differences, we can unite behind a common cause, a common goal. And I think this ASUU clamor is one of those things that unites Nigerians. And it also shows ASUU's impeccable character since 1978 that ASUU was established. It's one of the institutions that has refused to be bought over. If you look at what is happening by other progressive, even including our own NANS, you know.
No, NAN is just...
I think it's quite impressive. And I'm also happy that this has provided an opportunity for NLC to improve its image in the face of the public, that it could come out to lead this kind of popular struggle. And we hope that the government will listen. Because
they have no choice.
They have to listen. Because this is a very critical moment in this sort of the country. Election is coming and you are in power. So this kind of very popular demand, you have to listen. If they had listened to ASUU 3 weeks ago, there will have been no need for, you could have called for a tripartite meeting between ASUU, between NLC and then the government. So we hope that this, the mega rally is coming up in Abuja tomorrow. We hope that government will do something before other unions like air traffic controllers and other people decide to join. Yes.
And those ones.
So I hope the government has learned, and I hope they will do something.
If the oil sector or oil industry should join,
to ground everything.
Grounding Nigeria to a halt. And I don't think that government should wait until that happens. These people they have their children at home.
Yes.
And everybody is hungry.
It's not everybody can afford private universities.
What the government fails to realize. In fact, look, the people can afford private university. They are not up to 10% of the Nigerian people. There was a survey. That survey,
I'm telling you,
they are even under 6%. How many people can pay about 800,000, 1.5 million a session? How many people can pay that? Depending on the cost of study in the private universities.
And most of these federal universities are subsidized by the federal government. Highly subsidized. That's the only benefits.
So the people can, not all of us can put children in private university. And for people like me, people like Wale, who went through public university, people like yourself, who went through public university.
There wasn't any private. We didn't have private university during our time.
Are we going to be happy to see those public universities die? Because if the neglect and the underfunding of public universities continue,
honestly,
if the neglect continues,
the infrastructure
definitely is a matter of time. Just the way that our primary schools are dead now,
and secondary
they too will eventually die. I don't think that's what we want to see.
John is calling us. Thank you for staying with us.
Yeah, Son Okere speaking.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Who are these people holding millions of Nigeria to ransom? Can we name them? Can you tell them that this is what they should do? Every time everybody is crying, who are these people who are responsible to sort out things? That's my question. We cannot continue to cry. But there are some people who are responsible. So, I mean, they should do something. We keep crying every day. Nigerians are, even we are struggling to name new people, new presidency, or new president. But the people who are in power, they are not doing anything. And every day we are discussing and trying to elect new people. The present people at the moment, what are they doing? Every day we keep crying, but there are some people who are responsible. That's my...
Thank you. Thank you for your intervention. John is saying we should call them out. But the box
even if no one knows, the Minister of Education is the employer of ASU. This is the employer. It's not Ngige. Ngige is just a conciliator. But ASU...
So don't get it twisted.
Yes, ASU are not happy with
Ngige
because they felt Ngige is not supporting their cause. But it's the Minister of Education that should be more concerned about the resolution of this matter than even
Adamu.
Yes, than even Ngige himself. I just want to be fair because look, people have seen where I attacked this Ngige so many times. But the fact is, Ngige is not their employer. It is the Minister of Education. And when the president wanted improvement, he said, I want you to resolve this matter. Later, we were told that he didn't give him an ultimatum. Even if they didn't give, him ultimatum, Adamu should impose an ultimatum on himself.
Yes, that Luko.
He should impose an
before
ultimatum
it degenerated to this level.
Because how are you going to be viewed? You are not going to be in the office forever. People will remember that in your time, ASU went on a protracted strike that led to an NLC strike that grounded the nation. So would you want to wait and see that happen and give yourself negative immortality? I don't think that is right.
Even on a final note on this, Wale, even the lecturers, they're not finding it easy.
Of course.
They've stopped paying them.
Of course.
No work, no pay policy.
Yeah.
The senior staff of universities, SANU 2, and non-academic staff, they've stopped paying them.
Yes.
The university system is at ground right now. I have people there in the University of Lagos, and they've not been collecting their salary in the last 3-4 months.
ASU members are not happy that this strike is going on. They've had some 16 strikes in 23 years.
Right.
They're not happy. You know, what they are doing is to make sacrifices for everyone, for the future of our children. Because if you cannot invest in education, we are putting just about 5.04% of the budget in education, then there's no future for us. So they are fighting bare-chested for us, for the future of you and me, and for the future of the country. And that's why I think they deserve, support from everyone.
So, Julius, some people feel that Mr. President should even lead in this negotiation to call both parties, the stakeholders, and say, look, enough is enough. This is what we can provide. This is what we need and everything. Lecturers, you are my children. Go back to work first. I'll pay you. They are going to resolve it under 48 hours.
Let me tell you, when Ife and Modakeke, people were killing themselves, President Obasanjo had to call a meeting.
Yes, I remember.
Ogunsua, the Oni, they were there.
All night.
They began meeting at 6 p.m. The meeting didn't end until around 7 a.m. From 6 p.m. They had that kind of meeting twice.
With the president?
With the same length of time. You know how we got to know this? Somebody challenged, Obasanjo was on, they were conducting an interview, and he accused the then president of paying greater attention to resolving crises in other African countries and not his own country. So he gave that example. You can imagine
The commander-in-chief.
Starting a meeting at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. and being there till early in the morning.
13 hours.
Yes. So if he can lead that kind of negotiation for peace, nothing stops President Buhari
Himself.
from showing pity on students who are at home for no fault of theirs.
Grounded.
They are at home. There is no reason why the president can't show pity and lead this the
Federal government.
Yes. We have already suggested to him that, look, you are a father to all. Call them to say, look, we are all my children.
Yes.
I want this matter to be resolved. This is what my government can afford. We are all Nigerians. We can see the problems that our government is facing. If we come to them like that, in a very transparent manner, these guys are not animals.
Of course.
They are going to understand that it is their country.
Abdullah,
so they will take that decision.
Abdullah is calling us from Zaria in Kaduna State. Thank you for hanging out with us, Abdullah.
Hello, good afternoon there.
Yes. Go ahead,
Good
Abdullah.
afternoon.
Abdullah.
Yeah, thank you for the beautiful job you are doing. I just want to share my little experience or thought over this issue.
Go ahead, please.
I believe that ASU and other unions should go ahead and make it loud and clear to the public that the overall implication of this is that eventually school fees will be introduced, as I rightly pointed out, and the amount is not going to be something that a common man can lay his hands on. I think ASU should capitalize on this so that the common man on the street can understand the implication. Apart from the fact that ASU deserves a better pay, yes, you cannot be on the same salary for the first 13 years. You all know how the Naira has depreciated and the problems, the economic issues that are all at stake. I believe one of the major things that can mobilize the public to understand the plight of ASU, apart from the demand for the better salary, is that eventually there's going to be, if the government should go through with this, then they are going to introduce school fees, and then definitely, as pointed out, universities and polytechnics, all these things, they are tertiary institutions.
Thank you, Abdullah. Thank you for your contribution, Abdullah. We have to go on this break. When we come back, we'll talk more. Please don't go away. It's still Journalist Hangout. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Medical Sciences, UNIMED, in Ondo City, Ondo State. It's not just the first specialized medical and health sciences university in Nigeria.
It is the best ground for training in the health professions and medical sciences with outstanding products.
I had to enroll at another institution before coming to UNIMED, and I can tell you, in terms of facility, affordable cost, uninterrupted academic calendar, University of Medical Sciences blew my mind.
In just 7 years of its founding, the National Universities Commission, NUC, ranks UNIMED best among medical and health sciences university in Nigeria, 4th best state university, and 19th overall best in Nigeria in 2021. UNIMED, proudly Nigeria's first specialized medical and health sciences university.
It was a bright sunny day in Agbala community. The community popular jingo has just heard a rumor, and he has come to spread it to everyone. You won't believe what I just heard, he said. That incident last month was not a robbery. It was carefully planned by the neighboring community. It didn't take a lot for the people of Agbala to believe that the people of the neighboring community masterminded the attack, and off the way to war. However, only one person thought to call a friend in the community to check the information. By the time they realized the truth, nobody really remembered who brought the rumor. Fact check to be sure of the source of the information and its authenticity before spreading it or taking action. Fake news is dangerous.
This message is brought to you from the Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, with support from the UK government.
Thank you for staying with us. This is Journalist Hangout, and I still have Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Adewale Aduye in the studio. Now, as the federal government failed to tame activities of terrorists, they are becoming bolder and more rampant. Barely 24 hours after threatening to abduct President Muhammadu Buhari and the governor of Kaduna State, Nasiru El-Rufai, terrorists struck in Abuja and Kaduna States. In Abuja, troops of 7 Battalion of Guards Brigades of the Nigerian Army came under terrorist ambush along the Buhari-Kubwa road. 8 soldiers were killed and 3 others injured during the attack. 13 soldiers, including the commanding officer, identified as Captain Samuel Atta, are still missing from the operation, and the army has launched a search party for them. In Kaduna, bandits invaded a GRA in the new Millennium Settlement in Chikum local government area of the states. They abducted about 20 residents of the area. Julie, these audacious attacks, it's something that it's no longer, it's not funny again, because when you begin to see commanding officer missing, search party launched for a commanding officer, 20, army officers dead, and you begin to look at, we seem to be helpless.
It's a terrible situation that we found ourselves, and the earlier we change our tactics, the earlier we realize the enormity of the challenge facing us, the better. There are 6 area councils in Abuja. 2 have come under attack now. Any sensible person should realize that at this point, Abuja needs priority attention in terms of security. What this tells us is that they are present in the federal capital already. Let's not deceive
all
ourselves.
Around. With what happened in Kuje.
And Buhari now. From Buhari, they can go wherever they want. That's what it means. They can strike anywhere, either just terrorist attack or some form of banditry, kidnapping people for money and all that. So Abuja needs priority attention. There are 5 fighting army units in Abuja, including the Guards Brigade Battalion.
The elites.
Their job is to protect the seat of power. So if these things are happening, then something is wrong. In war, the most dangerous principle of war is the ambush principle. Because when the opponent or the enemy decides to employ ambush as a strategy, if you fail to spot the enemy preparing for an ambush, the rate of success in an ambush is about 75%.
Surprise attack.
Because he will be hiding somewhere, you can't see him. At that point, he can't even come under your fire because you are not seeing him. But he knows that you are coming, he has prepared, he has stayed somewhere just waiting for you. We have lost too many troops in the last 2 years to ambushes. In fact, Boko Haram has reduced attacks on troops at their bases. Ambushes are now very common across the entire theater of war in our country. And my own disappointment about this is, in the seat of power, if our troops are going to respond to distress call, because this was what we had happened, that the gas brigade men were responding to a distress call.
And 8 soldiers were killed.
Ideally, before responding to a distress call in this manner, you don't just go straight to the objective. You need to scan the area, know where exactly those guys are. In this case, you can use unmanned area vehicles to pinpoint the exact location. You don't just go straight to the area. You need the support of ground attack helicopters. They will be flying overhead while the surface troops will be moving towards the area. But what we saw here, even the bandits were already prepared for it. They understand us now. They know the way we fight. They know that once there's a distress call, we will want to move to the area. And how do we move to the area? We get helices, soft skin vehicles. We get soft skin vehicles with mounted troops that can be easily taken out, and you are going straight to the place.
You can preempt us.
It's like you are going to war blindfolded. So they are ready. Once you get to that point, since they are ready, they will take you out. This is what happened. To hear that that some soldiers are even missing. Boko Haram shouldn't be kidnapping Nigerian soldiers.
The commanding officers, the CEO of that troop.
See, it is bad enough when they attack us, but to take soldiers prisoner, it's not something that one wants to hear. We've got to realize that the way it is now, Abuja is not safe. Who knows the next area council that they are going to? It could be Amak. So we've got to be ready. We can't have all of those fighting units in the federal capital guiding the seat of power, and this will be happening. What are the helicopters doing? You've got to move with them. You have a mission. They shouldn't go alone.
Gone were those days. As in, when you had any kind of attack, when you on any military installation, what you are going to expect from that place is.
I think that was what Obasanjo had in mind when he dealt with the people over Odi and Zaki Biam. Yes, it angered people, but he wanted to send a warning that you can't kill
soldiers.
You can't just go and kill soldiers.
Abduct a commanding officer. And we can't.
Non-state actors killing soldiers. Obasanjo wanted to
send that signal.
Signal. And after what happened, did you hear that they killed soldiers again? Today now, killing soldiers is like
pastime.
I think this killing is not just an ordinary killing, because when we are talking about Brigade of Guards, it is the last line of defense for the sovereignty of the country. If there is a war in any country, the Brigade of Guards is supposed to be the last to go to battle, because they are supposed to defend the first family. The president, his wife, the vice president, his wife, and also to provide security for the speaker, the chief justice of the federation, and then the Senate. So it's an elite corps with special training. And it's about 3 battalions, about between 1,000 to 3,000 soldiers, most of the time commanded by a brigadier. So it's an elite corps that's supposed to have special facilities. The first thing is that what has happened now is going to demoralize a lot of our soldiers on the battlefield, because the terrorists are engaging the highest organ of power. So it's frustrating. And let me tell you, this ambush would not have happened if there are no insiders. Because for you to ambush Brigade of Guards, you must have information about the movement. You must have information about, the defense mechanism of the Brigade of Guards. So I think we are shocked beyond expression that the Brigade of Guards could come, could be attacked by terrorist groups in the seat of power. If Abuja is not safe, tell me, what is the fate of Kogi? What is the fate of Ekiti or Borno State? So I'm really, since September 1962 that this Brigade of Guards was established, we have never had this kind of thing before. It has never happened. So this is an embarrassment, to our future, to our past, to our present. And I just don't know how the government is going to respond to this,
This setback, the setback is becoming alarming and embarrassing from what the president, apparently the president was astonished with what happened in Kuje prison, knowing that, look, if this could happen right under his nose in Abuja there, I'm sure he would have underrated the capacity of these guys. Or he wasn't.
See, from the first day, and I've said it here many times, that the president underrated Boko Haram. One of the first things he said after he won the election in 15 was that how are the mighty falling?
Yep.
That how can Chad and the rest of them come and fight on Nigerian soil? He was still looking at Chad, the same country that he invaded when he was GOC, 3 Brigade. He was still looking at Chad, the same Chadians that he took
not knowing that
President Shagari out to beg him to move back.
Battle tested now.
But the situation has changed. We are facing a kind of threat that was not there before. The present crop of Nigerian troops were never prepared for this kind of warfare. And whether we like it or not, engaging Boko Haram or ISWAP in the seat of power, that is urban warfare that they brought to your door. They brought urban warfare to our doors. We've got to realize that, look, this threat is real. Saying how are the mighty falling, that, and you can see that even after he said that, he didn't renew the contract for the military contractors that some of us like to call mercenaries. He didn't renew the contract. And those troops that came from Chad, despite sacrificing many lives, they had to go back. The question is, have we solved the problem? The problem after 7 years of having the president, an army general in charge, because the threats are even bigger. Because
that was part of what they used for campaign.
The North Central,
insecurity
the Northwest, they were not facing this kind of threat at that time. But we now have what is unheard of. Terrorists operating. Look, they were bombing parts of Abuja, but they were never involved in a firefight with the army. That's a different kind of threat that was not there.
Targets,
they would just come, bomb people, run away. But to now face the army in a gunfight,
yes.
it was never there. So they've got to realize that, look, this is a much different kind of warfare that we are facing. And if we don't get our tactics right, because for me, ambushes will happen. They know that once there's a distress call, you will be heading in that direction. And they're always prepared.
Okay.
They're always prepared.
I have Uche. Uche is calling us from Abeokuta. Uche, how's it tonight?
Good evening, Ayo.
Good evening, Uche.
Good evening, Babajide.
Good evening.
Go ahead, please.
Good evening, Adoye.
Wale,
thank you.
Yeah, this is Uche calling from Ogun State.
Okay.
You know that if somebody says mathematics and English, that person, even if you pass all the other subjects, you know you are failed woefully. And you know that security of life and property is like the mathematics and the English in the school. So I don't know, sometimes when you are talking about say this government has built infrastructure, the infrastructure you are building, are you building it for whom? Who are you building the infrastructure for? Because if the people now are not dying like fowls, now the infrastructure will not be kept for whom? So the infrastructure should be on the English and mathematics, which is the life and property of the citizens and the welfare.
Thank you, Uche. Yeah. Uche is saying that without security, any other thing will take backstage. That security is paramount.
Yes.
Whatever we're doing.
I'm worried for Abuja, and I think that there has to be a contingency plan for the seat of power. Now that it is clear that these guys are here, I referred to a security report that the DSS issued around December. I was in Abuja at that time, and they said, look, that ISWAP men had come into town, come into Abuja to have a meeting with bandits operating in the North Central. So, yes, so why are we surprised that these things are happening? They came, we didn't do anything to stop the meeting. Now some people have been released from Kuje. Look at the last video that those guys came out with. Some of the people who are released have joined them and were already issuing threats. Some of their worst, their baddest bomb makers have already been released.
From the 64.
IED makers, they've been released.
Bad boys.
Commanders. Some of the commanders have been released. They've joined the people.
Commanders of Boko Haram.
Yes, because that's why we are keeping them.
2010,
They've come out. So how can people now feel comfortable? You must come up with the right strategy and operationalize your strategy, your plan to protect Abuja, because just as Wale said, if our last line of defense in Abuja is broken, it means that even the surrounding, all those surrounding states, they are not safe. The more they succeed at what they do, the more confident they become, and they will think that, look, they can engage anybody, and they will be moving from place to day. Today now, the places that they were not present in today, we know that they are present. And they keep recording success. Look at the number of troops that they killed in Niger State, in the Shiroro area. So if we allow them to continue to record successes, nothing energizes them more than the successes that they record. So we've got to stop them, deal decisively with them, so that we can protect our people a lot better.
Well, I don't expect the heads to roll. It's not in the style of President Muhammadu Buhari. He left set of this service chief there for almost 66 months. I don't think we expect that we tell these people to throw in the towel if they're not capable.
If heads didn't roll in the case of Kuje, Correctional Center, why should we expect heads to roll in this case? You know, I don't see any heads rolling. What I just think should happen is that other states should take a clue that if this can happen in Abuja, they need to buckle up. Other states across the country. Abuja is where people rush to feel safe. You know, even international community, everybody, okay, I want to be in Abuja, it's safe. But if Abuja now becomes unsafe, is it on those states you want to run to, or you want to go to Calabar? So other state governors should learn from what is going on, and then we think, in spite of the limited powers, they should take proactive measures.
And we've got
even this other state we are talking about, the federal government.
We are lucky that those boys didn't overrun the law school.
Nigeria law school.
Yes, because that was the mission. We are lucky that they didn't overrun any of the unity schools. Now we've taken steps to shut down so that it doesn't
ahead of to preempt.
Yes. What is left is for us to come up with a strategy that defeats these guys. I've not seen anything concrete that we are doing. If we wanted to go and take them on, and if we wanted to show that we have picked up valuable lessons from what happened in Kuje, honestly, it should be around 500 soldiers going to surround them where they are, going to encircle them and give them a bloody nose. But when you send a few Hiluxes are light-skinned vehicles. When you fire even an AK-47 at a Hilux, it will kill people. You know, especially if it's fired from close range, it will kill people. So we should be better prepared. Our defenses should be impregnable. The enemy should not be recording this kind of successes against us, because it's demoralizing.
And the bad part of it is that when they are carrying out this thing, to be very sure, they do record everything.
Yeah,
yes.
Put video
that's to tell you that they are prepared.
They are so confident.
They have a media team with them.
That's the time
they'll record it, they will upload it.
Good editors and all that.
They'll upload it, they'll put soundtracks, they'll film it and everything.
They have
terrorists.
They have because propaganda is an efficient tool for the terrorists. The terrorists wants to reach as many people as possible.
They are not
so and in the past, they didn't even fancy recording their successes. But because we will counter them to say, no, this thing didn't happen. So they too now devise a means of say, okay, before you say that we didn't do it, this is the video. Look at Kuje now. They released the video quickly. So that left us in no doubt about the scale of the operation and
they were giving pep talk before they released prisoners.
More than 2 hours operating in the seat of power. Less than 30 minutes drive from the airport. 2 hours plus.
Well, so, how did you get here?
Why, after the operation, how do they manage to escape? Yeah. That's strange.
Motorbikes.
And then on motorbikes, and then they just go like that. Nobody could accost them. They are not coming from Cameroon. They are not coming from Ghana. They are right in this country.
And helicopters will be strafing them.
So what are we talking about?
You know, no satellite to pick imagery.
You know, and it happens almost on a weekly basis. And nothing. They have now taken the battle to the presidency. So it's quite frustrating.
I've seen where Boko Haram attacked an army base. They were gathering weapons in Borno. They dislodged the base. They were gathering weapons. And the Air Force, in 2 waves of attacks, neutralized every terrorist on that location.
The Air Force?
Yes, because the army told them, look, any human being that you see, engage.
Instead of taking over the ammunition?
No, they had dislodged the troops from there. It's actually Martin that I'm talking about. They had dislodged the troops. Now, you know, they like looting weapons. So they were looting the weapons, you know, trying to flee from the area. But before they
could do that,
successfully carted away weapons, the Air Force came in 2 waves of attacks that completely neutralized every living being at that location. That is the sort of thing that I expected to see.
Prompt response.
In the case of Kuje, yes, you've succeeded, but you will not leave the area.
You will not get to that place. Wale, thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you. And the maestro himself, BKO, thank you so much for always being there. And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11 p.m. Join us, Journalist Hangout, on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Ozubagun. See you tomorrow, and God bless Nigeria.
Looking at the indicators for next year, you know, the macroeconomic environment requires economic liberalization for sustainable private capital growth in 2023. I believe that will be a strategic macroeconomic tool to leapfrog Africa's economy from being import dependent on products it can produce, just to be a self-sustaining $1 trillion economy, you know, beyond, you know, low-end commodity export to high-end product lines and what I call knowledge-based earnings. So this leads, you know, to my assertion as an entrepreneur and industrialist of the 5th era of industrial revolution, where digital transformation and technology boom have taken artificial intelligence to record high in terms of economy and all that. You know, one key engine that we need in 2023 is economic liberalization as a phenomenal tool to, you know, activate private capital development. You know, so we can pivot the economy from running around multi-billion-dollar economy GDP to $1 trillion economic league to have a strong force. So you see, if you look at the global economic trend and its impact on the continent of Africa, which only accounts for about 3% of global trade, and with a 7% trade deficit, it is, in terms of trade, it's difficult to fathom the assertion that a struggling economy with negative trade balance of about 19.3% that is also exposed to surging global inflationary turmoil due to high import dependency on what it can produce. The such economy can survive a hike in interest rate as the best monetary policy response to address, you know, surging inflation. You know, this is because the current inflation that we're dealing with, which I call imported inflation, is cost pull rather than demand pull. So in this regard, it is uncertain to see